Screech by Taran NCT on AO3. Episode 37, Chapter 38. Eraser, they're after you. Rocklock pointed out unhelpfully. Fatgum and Kirishima had both gotten separated from the group after they shoved Shouta out of the way of Mike's very pointed attack. Yeah, I know that. Shouta replied tensely. He was actually a little proud of himself for not being sarcastic or rude to the man who had been talking down to his student since the briefing, and actually stayed professional. Oh, was he after Eraserhead? Hitoshi asked, voice dripping in the sarcasm Shouta was holding back. I couldn't tell. It's not like he yelled out, "Die, Eraserhead," or anything. Hypnos, behave. Sashi warned, giving Shouta a quick glare when he snorted at his son's comment. Hitoshi only gave a non-committal hum in reply as their group continued on to their goal. They had only managed to run for a few moments before a select of wall opened up again, exposing someone Shouta had hoped never to see again. At least, not where they were witnesses. Bakugou Katsuki, the blonde punk, was just standing there, smirking at their group and flexing his right hand. Look what I found, a group of pathetic nobodies. He snarled at them. Shouta had just tightened his bit of his scarf to attack when Kaminari raised a hand and called out, "Dibs," with a look of victorious glee on his face. Shouta did a double take when he saw that look on Kaminari's face, completely unused to seeing anything other than a friendly smile on the blonde's face. But then he remembered that Kaminari had been there at the mall with Izuku when Bakugou murdered all those people. Fuck you. I want the purple asshole. Bakugou retorted. That useless bird's not here, but I can at least kill his brother. Oh, I can promise you that won't happen. Hitoshi grinned. But I'll take you on if you really want. Back off, Hypnos. I called dibs. Kaminari glared at Hitoshi. He wants to take me on, Charge Bolt. Hitoshi taunted, still grinning darkly at Bakugou. Respect the law of dibs. Charge Bolt, Hypnos, can you two at least pretend you're here in trainings for 5 minutes and act professionally? Hizashi complained. No, the two boys called in unison as they charged the blonde asshole. Shouta rolled his eyes, but as he went to give them backup, the walls moved again, trapping the two boys with Bakugou. Damn it. Well, I hope he picked a god and started praying, because those two boys are about to send him to them. Aren't you worried about them? Night Eye asked. We don't know what his abilities are. Hizashi snorted. No, you don't know what his abilities are. He's got an explosion quirk and a disintegration quirk, but both are dependent on his hands. Of which he has one of, Shouta added with a dark chuckle. My son is the one who managed that. Your son ripped a kid's arm off and you laugh? Rocklock asked, looking a little pale. What the hell, man? Shouta shrugged. It's his own fault. He ripped off my kid's wing. Fair trade. Hizashi nodded solemnly. Fair trade. Sorry, Hip, but if you want a crack at this guy, you're gonna need to be a lot faster than you are, Denki said right before he sparked up. All at once, Hitoshi remembered every second of the day after Bakugou attacked Izuku at the mall. He remembered how Denki would keep Izuku's hand in his, not only for the comfort, but because he would try to cut his wrist with his own talons. He remembered Denki confessing to him while at camp that he felt the mall was his fault, because he didn't do anything other than stand there watching. If I ever see him again, that just might be my own villain origin story. Hitoshi hasn't really understood just how much anger Denki held towards the boy who had hurt Izuku, but watching the lightning dance around him as he cracked his knuckles, Hitoshi was starting to understand. If you really want to go first, I'll have to kill you before I get the purple fucker. Bakugou sneered at Denki. Denki nodded solemnly. You heard that, right, Toshi? Lethal intent? Yeah, I heard that. Hitoshi confirmed, a little uncertainly. All right, then. Safety's off. With that, Denki's sparks got brighter, and then he just disappeared. All Hitoshi could see were flashes of lightning streaking across the room, colliding with Bakugou and throwing him into the wall, with a sheer force and the electrical backlash. In the brief seconds in where Hitoshi could actually see Denki, he was shocked to see his expression. He was clearly playing with his target, which led Hitoshi to wonder just how much the boy had improved in the past few months. This is not the same boy that would overload his senses and walk around with his brain fried. Hitoshi hadn't realized until now, but he hadn't seen Denki short circuit since they had their internships. Just what kind of stuff had Pa been teaching him? Hitoshi finally understood why Dad always said not to piss off the Sunshine people. Even though Hitoshi had wanted to get a hit on this asshole who nearly destroyed his brother and got him kidnapped from summer camp, he's willing to let Denki take care of him. He's doing one hell of a better job than Hitoshi would have. What with every hit getting backed up with who knows how much of an electrical charge. Hitoshi could see fear starting to show up in Bakugou's expression, finally realizing he had grossly underestimated his opponent, but not sure how to fix it. Honestly, Hitoshi wasn't sure how much longer this fight was going to last. Denki was playing around, true, but he had also been going for a few minutes, and Hitoshi was sure he hit his limit sooner or later. Sure enough, a few moments later, it looked like Denki might have hit his limit, since he appeared to stumble and skid to a stop a few meters away from Bakugou, as if he needed to stop to catch his breath. Hitoshi could see the signs of exhaustion in his stance, and it looked as though Bakugou could see it too, as he smirked in triumph and darted towards Denki with his hands raised to grab Denki's face. But before Hitoshi could move in and take over the fight, Denki grabbed Bakugou's wrist and snarled at him. Nice try. You think this is over? Bakugou laughed out. Think again, you electric bitch. He let loose an explosion, point blank at Denki's face. Shit, Denki. Hitoshi was freaked out, thinking he might have just witnessed his friend get seriously hurt. But then he heard Denki laugh. What? Is this all you got? My electricity is 10 times hotter than that. You want to see? With his hand still gripped onto Bakugou's wrist, Denki let loose what looked like a lot of his old instrumental shock move, but with it forced just on his hands. He kept the shock going for a few seconds, but when he finally let go, it was clear to Hitoshi that he had short-circuited himself. Hitoshi quickly stepped in to take over the fight, since there was no way Denki would be able to continue like that. But Bakugou had collapsed onto the ground, and was cradling his arm close to his chest. Hitoshi gently nudged Denki towards the open part of the room, making sure he wouldn't wander into Bakugou while he was vulnerable, and looked at the boy, screaming in agony. Oh, Hitoshi nearly gagged as he smelled the charred flesh on Bakugou's arm. The skin was blackened and burned, and Hitoshi could swear he saw bone. Well, that looks like it hurt. Hitoshi deadpanned, causing Bakugou to look up with him with a glare. Probably won't be able to keep you in with my quirk. Probably won't be able to keep you in my quirk with that, but I'm gonna need to restrain you somehow. Hitoshi sent him a wide grin. There was a very small pool of heroes that truly scared Mirai, but after today, that number had increased by 2. President Mike and his student Charge Bolt were absolutely terrifying. He hadn't seen Charge Bolt fight in person, but looking at the charred slump that was all that was left of Bakugou Katsuki's right arm would be telling enough. And there were over 50 moderate electrical burns on the boy, as well as a few bruised ribs from blunt force. As for President Mike, well, Mira had watched the footage of President Mike fighting, all for one, but he really hadn't been paying attention, more focused on watching as no one went to help All Might. Watching him fight Overhaul today made it very clear just how he managed to defeat the 200-year-old supervillain. It was obvious he had practice in quirkless combat, or at least he didn't rely on his quirk, and at the same time he was very adept at using his surroundings to take cover if needed. One of Overhaul's followers had been trying to hit Present Mike with a quirk erasing bullet, but he never made it in the line of sight for more than a few seconds at a time, using the landscape that Overhaul had created to his advantage. As if Present Mike alone wasn't enough to inspire awe into Meride, watching the way he fought seamlessly with Eraserhead was just incredible. The two fought as if they'd been doing it their whole careers. And since Meride knew they've known each other since high school, they very well could have been working together since then. Meride had already known Eraserhead was ruthlessly efficient. He had been on the list of heroes that scared Meride for years, but Present Mike's friendly demeanor, and that of his student charge bolt, had hidden the fact that they were just as terrifying. He looked at Eraserhead's purple-haired intern as he put his hands in his pocket and ducked his face into his capture scarf, and couldn't help note the similarities between him and his mentor. That boy, Hypnos, would likely be just as terrifying as his mentor in the coming years. What else was I supposed to do, Dad? Wait, did Hypnos call Eraserhead Dad? He didn't have hands anymore to hold the cuffs. His burnt-off arm stump was causing him too much pain for me to keep him under my quirk. The only other option was to knock him out. Eraserhead snorted lightly and shoved Hypnos by the face. Brat, he said with a fond smile. Come on, let's collect might and bolt, and we could head back home. Izu's blowing up my phone. I guess the fight was on the news and he saw Mike. I don't know, he might have heard him. Pa wasn't very quiet, and Izuku's hearing is ridiculous. Did he just call Present Mike his pa? Are Mike and Eraser married? And Hypnos is their kid? Scratch that. Hypnos is also on the list of heroes that scare Meride. Izuku blinked at Dinky. No, surely he didn't hear that correctly. He didn't, right? He stuck his finger in his ear to try to clean it out. There was no way he heard that Dinky burnt off Kachan's arm. Izuku looked over to Shouta to make sure he had heard the same thing, only to see him wrapping his arm around Hitoshi, and with his face burnt in his shoulder. No, you heard him right. Hitoshi chuckled, running a hand through Shoto's hair. I was there. I watched him do it. It was both beautiful and horrifying. He smirked at Dinky as he said that. Dinky huffed out an amused breath. He took your wing! What else was I supposed to do? Not avenge my beautiful boyfriend? Izuku smiled at Dinky and wrapped his arms around him, kissing his neck softly. Thank you, Dinky. He murmured into his neck. You demons aren't talking about the raid, are you? Shouta asked as he walked into the front room and flopped onto the couch. It's still classified. Nope, not talking about anything like that. Hitoshi quickly interjected, shaking his head. Shouta chuckled. Uh-huh, sure. He looked at Dinky and Hitoshi, and then leaned back and closed his eyes. I'm proud of you boys, by the way. You both handled yourself well. Izuku tightened his hold on Dinky and kissed his cheek. That's high praise coming from Dad. Shut up, you overgrown pigeon. Shouta laughed. Izuku squawked in offense. Excuse you? Keigo is the pigeon. Speaking of, Hizashi said as he entered the front room and headed to the couch, lifting Shota's legs and sliding onto the couch underneath. Weren't you supposed to meet with him today? I was, Izuku pointed. When we saw you on the news, he told me to go home, knowing full well I was going to be distracted. It's not like every single member of my family was at some dangerous raid or anything. Shouta simply nodded, his head against Hitoshi's. I'm not sure if I was more or less worried, not being able to spot you on the news. He added quietly. I didn't mean to point out the obvious, but we're all going to be doing this for the next however many years. This isn't the last raid we'll be on, right? Think you tried to point out. Nice try. Hitoshi huffed out. Just wait until Dad gets out on a raid and doesn't check in with Pa on time. If you think these two are being dramatic, you'll be in for a real treat when Pa starts worrying. He grinned when he saw Hizashi stick his tongue out at him. The only good part about him worrying is that he stress bakes. The best cookies, cakes, muffins, All of that happens when Dad doesn't check in on time. I can neither confirm nor deny that I sometimes drop my phone on purpose, knowing the baked goods that will be waiting for me when I get back home. You're no better, Hizashi glared, pinching Shouta's leg. Shouta gets all clingy and won't let me out of his sight for hours. That's only if I don't stalk him and follow him along to the raid and watch out for things to go wrong. He admitted easily, not bothering to complain about the pinch, knowing he deserved it. Hizashi sighed in annoyance. It's gotten to a point where people ask me if he's hanging out on a roof somewhere before every raid. Izuku raised an eyebrow at them. And you gave me the stink eye for doing the same thing? I'd call bull. The difference, Hitoshi snickered, is that they are hypocrites. Yeah, that tracks. Dinky nodded solemnly. 10 years later. Are you sure you don't mind subbing for me for this week? Izuku asked Shouta. Problem child, you act as if I've never taught both heroics and law ethic classes before. Shouta rolled his eyes fondly at his son. I can take both of them over again for a single week, so you can go on your honeymoon. Okay, Izuku replied, uncertainly. You sure? Shouta grabbed him by the cheeks. Problem child, relax. Everything will be fine. All you need to focus on is walking down that aisle to meet your soon-to-be husband, and then enjoying your honeymoon with your new husband. I know. Izuku dropped his head onto Shouta's shoulder. I'm just so nervous. I don't even know why I'm nervous. We've been together for 10 years now. Why am I a nervous wreck? Shouta wrapped his arms around his son and laughed. You're just like Hizashi. I swear, in all the years I've known him, our wedding day was the one time I've ever seen him be a nervous wreck over literally nothing, thinking I was going to back out the last moment. Shouta lifted Izuku's face back so he could look at him. Denki adores you and loves you. There is no reason at all for you to be nervous. Izuku nodded. Why does this make me nervous? But fighting villains is just another day. That shouldn't be the thing that scares me. It's because you fight villains all the time, but this is the first and, only time you're gonna get married. It's normal to freak out, Owlette. Shouta pulled him back and reached to fix Izuku's tie. I'm proud of you, Izuku, he said quietly. Izuku tilted his head slightly and hooted indiscursively. Shouta smiled softly at him. I'm just remembering the timid kid I met 10.5 years ago, looking at all the progress you've made since then. I'm so fucking proud of you. Izuku's eyes started misting, but he didn't let the tears fall. He was trying not to cry until after the ceremony. Thanks, Dad, he managed to say. I'm not sure I would have been able to do it without you. There came a knock on the door, and then Hitoshi stuck his head in. Hey, Izu, you ready? Izuku started fanning his face to try and dry the tears that are just beginning to fall. Yeah, Dad just here trying to get me to cry, like the asshole he is. Izuku laughed. Shouta pulled Izuku in for a quick hug. Come on, if you're ready, then let's go. Izuku sniffled quickly, and then picked up the bouquet of white pelluas. I'm ready, he said, turning to the door, ready to walk out and marry the man he loves. Okay, we're on to our final notes on Screech. I loved it. That was the end, guys. Can we get a claps? Make sure to go and put a comments onto the original fic. As I said, the link is in the description. The kudos, go give it a kudos. I know I have given it a kudos. Still debating if I'm going to bookmark it or not. Probably not. I feel like I should bookmark it. Huh. Ugh, I'm gonna have to bookmark it, aren't I? Ugh, I love that so much. I'm gonna bookmark it later. I'll just keep it in the line. I have to add this into my what's it called? Itinerary of fan fictions I have read. This was a lengthy fanfic, I will say. This was a nice fanfic. I love Screech so much. I especially think my favorite part is the portrayal of Izuku's mental state. I feel like it is very realistic, right? I feel like the author put enough work into the realistic side of what mental health truly is, right? One cannot promise to not, I know a lot of times I see in main media where a depressed person becomes cured because they're in a relationship. No, that is not the case. That does not happen. So I love that the author did not go that route. That even after Izuku got a happy family, had a significant other, even after all of that, Izuku still struggled with his mental health, right? Did it get easier? Yes, it did. It got significantly easier to deal with, right? But that does not take away the fact that he had to deal with it to begin with, right? Just because one has crutches does not mean one does not have a broken leg. The crutches just make it easier for the person to get from point A to point B, right? It does not change the fact that they have a broken leg. It does not make them heal faster or completely heal the broken leg either. It's stuff like that sometimes media portrays it in a very awful light, which is like, ugh, I hate when media gets it wrong. But this author did a wonderful job at portraying Izuku's mental state. And I appreciate that. I love that. I love this fanfiction. Obviously, I love the fact that Izuku and Denki obviously get married. My question is, who's the marrying party? Like, there's like best mans and groomsmen and all that. Like, who's who? I need to know who's the best man. Who's Izuku's best man? I must know. Also, because nothing ever got revealed with Dabi, Toga, Magne, and Twice, I like to think that they all, okay, so specifically Dabi got the therapy, right? He went to, no, he did not go to therapy. I know. I'm gonna make up a whole story. So sit down, right? Is this canonical? No, it's not. Unless the author wants to write down in the comments and say, you know what, I vibe with that. That is canonical now. But other than that, this is not canonical, and this is just my little headcanon for this fanfiction. Okay, so headcanon for Toga. I feel like Toga and Dabi together, and Magne and Twice, right? All of them, they all decided to, go all their separate, not their separate ways, but like instead of going all their separate ways, they go all together. And so they go to another abandoned part of, I don't know, the city or something, right? So Magne starts doing not comedy shows, but just shows in general, right? Starts earning money that way, right? Twice. I don't know what Twice would do. Oh, fuck. What would Twice do? I don't know. We're gonna ignore him. Toga continues her murder spree and stuff. Dabi does too, right? But it isn't until one night where Toga stops murdering, right? Because she then gets infatuated with a certain Uraraka, okay? Yes, I'm an Uraraka and Toga shipper. Fucking sue me, right? Right. So, because of this, right? Everybody sees this is a found family kind of thing, right? They all support her, right? And Toga is trying her hardest to catch Uraraka's attention at this one coffee shop that Uraraka works at, okay? Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. This is a headcanon. Again, not canon. I am not the author of this fanfiction, and this author of this fanfiction, unless they say it's canon, this is completely a headcanon of mine, and I'm gonna fully believe that that is what happened, okay? Until I am proven otherwise. So, we get a cute Uraraka, Toga, coffee shop reality. Obviously, Magne is doing shows. She is becoming significantly popular. She pulls out a single, right? She pulls out a song, right? And it explodes. She is becoming a phenomenon, okay? People are loving her music, all right? Twice is being the supportive uncle, okay? Twice is being supportive. He's supporting Magne. He is offering Magne coffee and energy drinks when Magne is working long hours and working long and hard to achieve her dream. Twice is probably also helping her. And you know what? One day Magne needs backup dancers, and who's there? Twice. Twice is there being the backup dancers, okay? Toga is having a fine downtime with her coffee shop AU with Uraraka, all right? Now, as for Dabi, this is where it gets interesting, right? Dabi has still not yet left the life of crime, all right? Toga, Magne, and Twice, they all left life of crime, right? Toga wanting to pursue, Uraraka. Magne wanting to pursue her new dream of being an all-time pop singer or regular singer. I don't know what genre of music she would probably produce. Twice as a professional backup dancer for Magne and also helping her out. As for Dabi is still living with them, but he is like, no, I'm gonna be my pyromaniac that I am and burn up buildings and get revenge on Endeavor, right? But one day, he's burning up a building, right? And he goes away. He's not paying fucking attention, and as he's walking off, he's already like blocks away from the house, so they can't really pin him on him. He is about to get fucking ran over when no other than Hawks saves Dabi, right? Hawks saves Dabi, right? And Hawks is like, are you good? You okay? And Dabi's like, fucking fuck off, bird face, and runs off, right? Hawks thinks this is weird. Hawks tells Izuku about this, right? And for a week, this is all Hawks could think about, right? He's like, I don't know why I can't stop thinking about that one dude that almost got ran over. Like, what is it about that one dude that intrigues my mind so much, right? And Izuku's like, who knows, right? It happens again. Not the run over, but Dabi is enjoying a nice smoke on the roof side of, the roof of a building. And Hawks is patrolling around, this time with Izuku. No, not with Izuku. Fuck Izuku. No, not fuck Izuku. I love Izuku, but not with Izuku. Izuku could be somewhere else. I don't know. He's on a date with Denki. Hawks is just flying around, and Dabi is, being stupid and decides, I'm going to parkour to the next building over, and he jumps off. And he does not land at all, and he starts to plummet to his death. And guess who saves him? None other than Hawks. Again, Dabi's annoyed, like, fuck you. I don't need your saving. And Hawks is like, my dude, what the fuck were you gonna do? You were gonna fucking die. And Dabi's like, no, I wasn't. I have a fire cord. I could very much propel myself upwards. Thank you very much. Right? And Hawks is like, if I was not mistaken, that seemed like you were suicidal, my dude. Like, and Dabi's like, no, I was trying to parkour to the other side and I didn't make it, okay? You fuck off. I don't need your help. I don't need your patronizing me, right? Once again, Dabi starts to walk off, and Hawks is like, wait, no. I don't know if you are safe with yourself. Please, let me help you. And Dabi's like, no, fuck off. Right? And Dabi walks off. Again, Hawks is enthralled. He's like, what the I can't stop thinking about this dude. He tells Izuku. And Izuku's like, oh, well, Hawksy, big bro, are you sure this man's okay? It's like, man's starting to sound like me, right? Weeks later, it happens again. This time, though, Dabi is in a house fire. He set the fire on a house. He's not actually in need of help. He's in the building, all right, the building's on fire. He starts to walk off, and Hawks arrives at the scene, and Hawks quote-unquote saves, Dabi. And Dabi's like, dude, I don't need fucking help. I'm the one who set the building on fire. And Hawks is like, oh, you set the building on fire. And they have this weird back and forth, right? Obviously, where Hawks is constantly saving Dabi. Dabi is constant being like, I don't fucking need your help. For months, until finally they exchange numbers and they start talking, and then they date. The end, okay? Bakugou is in a lockdown prison. He's in Tartarus. I want to see, what other knots can I tie? Let's see. Hitoshi and Todoroki get married. They get married. Except Todoroki decides, no, wait, I can't remember. Was Endeavor good in this fanfiction? Never mind. Endeavor was good in this fanfiction. Never mind. We're not gonna do that. But yeah, Hitoshi and Todoroki are dating. And no, they're obviously dating. I mean, they're getting married. I feel like they would get married first before Izuku and Denki. So they got married first. Probably like 2 years beforehand. Would they adopt children? Yeah, they would. They would. I feel like they would. Yeah, they would. Alright, that's enough. The next fanfiction that's gonna take over this one is Little and Broken, but Still Good, by Wicked Writer. Summary. Shouta's life has been anything but perfect, but the moment he adopted Eri, things started to fall into place. Even though all the trauma she endured, she was adjusting to her new life with her new family. When she starts school, Shouta worries how this new complication will affect her. Meeting her new teacher, a blonde, tattooed, and pierced loudmouth, did not do much to ease his worries. However, over time he realizes what a wonderful person Hizashi Yamada could be. Now their family starts to grow a little more with each new addition. And perhaps this is exactly what they both needed. Obviously, Eraser Mike centric. I will say it is rated as explicit. This fan fiction has eventual smut. Eventual smut. So those specific chapters and those specific episodes are going to be age restricted. So just saying, I'm just warning y'all. That one is not, great, amazing. I'm so excited. I asked for that fanfiction asked to Podfic that fanfiction for a while back. And I'm so excited to be able to doing it now. I'm so excited. All right. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.